Hey guys, Besa Gordon here. Happy Monday. So, we're actually going to technically do a restream for this episode, but I wanted to make sure that you knew that you will have a new episode tomorrow, okay? Don't even worry about it. I might actually drop it until about 3 o'clock tomorrow. Just because I have a whole lot of things that I need to make sure that I get done before today is over. But I do need to make sure I get this episode out tomorrow. And I'm gonna tell you why. A lot of things have been happening from Ahmaud Arbery to Breonna Taylor to Nicki Minaj getting recognized with the Vanguard Award and just so many other things that are going on over the last couple days that I want to make sure that I am able to come on here and properly talk about these things because it's very frustrating to me whenever I see people like talking about things as sensitive as a Breonna Taylor or Ahmaud Arbery, and they don't have all the facts straight. Oh, we also got to talk about these PPP loans because I don't know if you guys heard, but um, Biden just extended the statute of limitation to where if you've been doing PPP loans and you wasn't supposed to get that money, yeah, you might be going to jail. So we're gonna talk about all of that tomorrow, and I don't know if I'm actually going to drop a preview of it tomorrow. You might not get that until Wednesday. But today I actually interviewed Seahawks legend and recently retired KJ Wright. Okay, that interview is so good. Like when I tell you, I think I forgot how much that I actually enjoy interviewing people because I don't really do it as much anymore. But that all changes now that we're doing the rewind on a daily basis. So stay tuned for my interview with KJ Wright, which will literally be dropping probably Wednesday. But in the meantime, between time, look, we're going to run it back. We're going to toss in Friday's episode of the rewind for anyone that missed it or simply wants to relive it. But until next time, or shall I say at least tomorrow, I just wanted to come on here, say, hey, how you doing? Hope you're doing mighty fine. And also thank all of you for watching the rewind. So with that being said, let's jump right into this interview, or shall I say this restream of Friday's episode of Rewind with Besa. Hey guys, Besa Gordon here. So first and foremost, sorry that this episode is a wee bit late. Typically at this time, this is when I have the restream. So it's late, but it's kind of not late. Either way, I definitely couldn't go a day without making sure that I got this episode out because you guys know we are moving the rewind to a Monday through Friday show. And if I'm going to make this happen, I have to stay on task, or shall I say on schedule. So today's show is going to be very event heavy. We also have to do some updates on Mystikal and his arrest. And we got to talk about them sentencing my good sis, Brittney Griner, to 9 years in prison, okay? And I found a bonus thing. Apparently, Doja Cat decided to shave off all her hair and her eyebrows, and people are a little worried about her. So we're going to talk about that too, okay? First and foremost, let's jump into these events, you guys. So for starters, today, there was a smoke and stretch, which is actually put on by Canna Sweat, and I want to say fit by Felicia. Here's the thing. The reason why I'm showing this is because one, I've been to these before. Two, they're very fun. And three, although it's already happened because obviously it's 9 o'clock now, this started at 7. I really just want you guys to follow the page. That way, when they have another one, you are able to pull up. Okay. The last Canna Sweat that I went to was at Seward Park, and it was an absolute vibe. So definitely make sure you follow that page so that way you know when they're doing another smoke and stretch. Otherwise, look, you guys, it is Seafair weekend. And I don't know if you guys realize this, but being that it's Seafair weekend, honey, we got the Blue Angels back. So I wanted to make sure that you guys actually knew what times that the Blue Angels would be flying. And I also made a handy, well, I didn't make it, I actually found a handy dandy list of where the Blue Angels will be flying and where you can actually watch for free this year. Now, aside from Blue Angels, of course, we got Umoja Fest. Tomorrow is actually going to be the Umoja Fest parade. That little blue line, yeah, that is going to be your route for Umoja Fest. And of course, I wanted to make sure I put that in there because someone like myself that's from Seattle, that grew up in the CD, I know where the route is, okay? All I need to do is put my chair down and relax. But I wanted to make sure that you guys knew where the route was because, you know, parades can be they can be a little confusing sometimes. And also with Umoja Fest, like we said before, Raheem Devon is going to be there. So definitely make sure you guys pull up to Umoja Fest. And I don't know if you guys remember when I showed you what it looked like, because let's be honest, we have a lot of people that have recently moved to Seattle since COVID. So you guys might not have even gone to a Umoja Fest. Well, this is what it looks like, okay? It's a vibe. It's a schmooty wood. Definitely pull up, wear some comfortable shoes. If you're wearing heels, I'm gonna need you to be like my good sis right there in the blue jeans and make them platforms, because there is a whole lot of grass that you just don't want your heels to be getting stuck in. Like at that particular point, you might as well walk around barefoot. Now, other things happening this weekend, there is a brunch over at Poco, Seattle. And guess what? First of all, my good sis, DJ Lady Coco, is going to be spinning. And you guys know, if you've been to my mixers, Coco gets it popping because Coco is who I partner with. So basically, she does the sound, I do the panels, and then we come together for the mixer, if you know what I'm saying. So it's going to be a vibe, and you guys are definitely going to have some really, really good music there. Speaking of good music, Raheem Devon is also going to be there. So head on over to the website, grab you guys some tickets, and go have a really, really good time over at Poco Seattle, because also that is a Black-owned business. So yeah, pull up on it one time. Now, another brunch that's actually happening on Sunday is going to be at the Othello Market. So definitely pull up on that. And honestly, as the girls always say, we love a good brunch, okay? So I'm going to put that up real quick again, so that way you can take a quick screenshot of it if you need to. And lastly, there's going to be a party at Mint Lounge on Saturday. These are the girls that are hosting it. I know probably like 3 or 4 of the girls. That's my boo Rachel. And it's going to be a vibe, okay? These girls are super fun. And honestly, the reason why I decided to mute it is because they have music playing in this video, and I just didn't want those problems, okay? So make sure that you guys pull up to all these different events this weekend. And actually, I almost forgot to show you guys this calendar. So this is actually a calendar of truly everything that is going on for Seafair this weekend. So as you see, it's a lot of different things happening every single day. So you have a lot of options. You don't just have to go to one event. You can obviously go to multiple different events. And truly, that's probably the real way that you're supposed to enjoy Seafair. You're supposed to do a little bit of everything and not just one thing. Either way, you guys. Lastly, in event recaps, I want to make sure that you guys know what is going down for Friends of Waterfront Seattle over at Pier 62. Once again, this is a full list of all the things that you guys can do over at Pier 62. And you already know these events are free, so you might as well pull up. The sun is out, and I mean, who doesn't want to be outside with some good sunlight and by the water? I know I do. I actually thrive when I'm outside by the water. So yeah, definitely pull up to Pier 62 if you have not been there. Now, of course, if you have an event that you feel that people should know about and I should shout out, you already know, hit me up on IG at Besa Gordon. In the meantime, in between time, when we come back, we are talking about Hamilton, honey. And let me just tell you, it was really, really good.
I'm past patiently waiting, I'm passionately passion every expectation, every action's an act of creation. I'm laughing in the face of casualties and sorrow. For the first time I'm thinking past tomorrow. And I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. Hey yo, I'm just from my country, I'm young, snappy and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot. We're gonna ride, so it's time to take a shot. We're gonna ride, so it's time to take a shot. We're gonna rise up, rise up. It's time to take a shot. Rise up, take a shot, rise up. It's gonna take a shot, rise up. Take a shot, shot, shot. Hey, it's time to take a shot, time to take a shot. And I am not throwing away my shot.
Baby, let me tell you, first of all, welcome back to Rewind with Besa. That's first and foremost. Second of all, with all these different shows that I've been going to, there's always somebody crying, and I'm usually teasing them. I was literally the one that legit cried the whole freaking second half, okay? It was so good. I was so just emotionally drawn into the story plot. Like, you would have thought those were my friends and family. I was offended for some of the women and the things that were happening to them. Like, it was so good. And furthermore, I really like how it's kind of like a history lesson mixed with some freaking tea that you have nothing to do with it, but you like it, because we all know drama is always better when you ain't got nothing to do with it. Okay, so look, if you guys have not grabbed your tickets to go see Hamilton, please go see Hamilton. And also, quick suggestion, being that it is showing at the Paramount, look, I don't know if it's necessarily sold out, but the Paramount is pretty big. And honestly, it damn near seemed sold out when I went yesterday. And my suggestion is to get there early because the line was so freaking long that I've never seen this. And maybe some people have gone, they've seen this before, but they had to open up some side doors to get people in faster because the line was so freaking long outside. So if you go, get there a little early, okay? But if you don't have your tickets, child, go buy your tickets. It's good. Now, fun fact about Mystikal, I actually met him a few years ago at a show. Didn't know that he had a past of things like this, or at least being accused of things like this. Currently, this is the third time that Mystikal has officially been accused of RAPE. All right. And in this particular case, I already let you guys know what was going on. He has a whole lot of counts. I don't have my notes with me in order to be able to read them over again. So, what we are going to do is we are going to pull up a handy dandy news article because honestly, you guys, these updates, like what I read to you guys a couple days ago, was a little bit disturbing. However, this right here, this is even more disturbing. Check out this news clip.
Good evening. First at 6 o'clock, Mystikal, a well-known rapper on the wrong side of the law tonight, his third rape arrest over the past 2 decades.
Tonight, Mystikal, whose real name is Michael Tyler, is being held without bond at the Ascension Parish Jail. WBRZ first to break the high-profile rapper's arrest on our news app this morning, and the investigative unit first to publish the disturbing details on what landed him in jail. Here is our chief investigator, Chris Nakamoto.
Michael, Sylvia, a woman claims she was raped, robbed, and held against her will by a man whose fame did not provide him any favors. Tonight, Mystikal sits in the Ascension jail accused of charges that could put him away for life if he's convicted.
Shake it fast. Watch yourself. Shake it fast. Show me what you're working with. Shake it fast.
51-year-old Michael Tyler isn't known to many by his real name. The music you just heard got him famous. His stage name, Mystikal. Tonight, a woman alleges he raped her at his home on Saturday in Prairieville, robbed her, and held her against her will.
Two individuals, they met up at his home to discuss some finances. And at some point, that conversation went very, very far left. She said that he seemed fine when they were initially talking. At some point, he stepped away, maybe to the restroom. He came back a completely different person. And that was when he began to come on to her.
This warrant for Mystikal's arrest details exactly what he's accused of. The woman had cuts, bruises on her arms, leg, face, mouth, and neck and hair yanked from her scalp. The warrant alleges Mystikal punched her, pulled her braids from her head, took her phone and keys to prevent her from leaving, choked her to the point she could not breathe, and forcibly raped her. The victim alleges Mystikal verbally berated her, spit in her face, and threw rubbing alcohol on her, claiming that she had bad spirits on her, that it would help cleanse. No one came to the door at his home on Retreat Lane in Prairieville, but neighbors on this quiet street told me he was always cordial and waved, but he also kept to himself and was a recluse. In 2014, we caught up with him on a ride-along with deputies as they checked on convicted sex offenders, which he is.
How you doing?
Good. Oh, Lord.
At the time, he told us he knew how important these checks are, especially when sex offenders are in your neck of the woods.
I have the same fears that most parents have. You know, I don't have no offense against no, young kids and nothing like that. Don't make my offense no better, but still, protect your kids, man. Protect your kids. That's, our kids are the most important thing that we have.
He also said being a sex offender had not stopped him from living.
Don't do the pity party thing, I have to participate in sex offender groups and stuff like that twice a month. It don't stop your life, man.
Despite his fame, the sheriff's office says he's not being treated any differently tonight.
He didn't show the victim any sympathy, and he doesn't get any sympathy or special treatment. So he will be in general population or will be incarcerated just like anyone else.
Mystikal has been charged twice before for rape, once in 2002, another in 2017. The first one resulted in a 6-year prison conviction and forced him to register as a sex offender. 3 weeks ago, deputies were also called to Mystikal Street after a man says a woman came to his door alleging she was beaten by the rapper. He has a bond hearing tomorrow afternoon. Michael?
Okay, so can we start with the fact that a woman accused him of beating her 3 weeks ago? Let me tell you something. it really sucks when these artists that do such good music become just a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, okay? And then even if you look at some of his lyrics, when you really read them, it's like, you know what? You really was. I'm not really sure if you were ever all there. Like something might have always been wrong with you, and it almost feels like we've been overlooking it this whole damn time. Okay. And then on top of this, for the girl that ended up recently going to the cops, she said he spit in her face, threw rubbing alcohol on her, and said she had bad spirits and this would help cleanse. What was he trying to do? A freaking exorcism on this woman? Let me look, say no to drugs, you guys, because that when you just walk off and then you just come back just a whole different person, usually you've done something. Something has transpired, unless you just really have some sort of a chemical imbalance. Because then if you just have a chemical imbalance, then well, things can just happen whenever they want to happen. But we're just going to have to keep following this whole case with Mystikal. I don't know if he did it. I don't know if he didn't do it, but I do find it very peculiar that there was a girl that literally had to run to a neighbor's house 3 weeks ago. Obviously, something's going on, okay? Look, we're going to go to another commercial break, and when we come back, we are going to talk about Brittney Griner getting 9 years in prison over in Russia over a damn vape pen, okay? You already know. You watching Rewind with Besa. Hey guys, Besa Gordon here, and before heading to Belize, Trey Holiday and I had to make sure we linked up with our good friends over at Market Street Shoes to, of course, grab a few things for the trip. From bags to socks, shoes, sunglasses, earrings, and more. Before going on any trip, make sure you stop at Market Street Shoes. Trust me, you'll find just what you need to make your trip not only enjoyable, but fashionable. Welcome back to Rewind with Besa. Look, you guys know I've been really following this whole Brittney Griner case for a minute, and honestly, when I found out that she ultimately would have to do 9 years in prison over a vape pen, the American in me is just like, that is absolutely ridiculous. The other portion of me is like, well, it is against the law. But at the same time, it's not like she had a backpack full of vape pens. She had like one cartridge with her. She had one vape pen cartridge with her, which means she was only going to use it for herself. Like, you can't get the whole city high off of one little cartridge. So clearly this was more than just a situation that is about a vape pen, okay? This is clearly more political than Russia is willing to admit, but we got to do our part. I'm going to play you guys this news clip so you can see what is going on. And what's crazier is they don't have jails over there. They have labor camps. So we're also going to talk about that a little bit later, okay? Stay locked. But let's get into this news clip real quick in case you guys have not seen exactly what has gone down in the last 24 hours with Brittney Griner.
WNBA star Brittney Griner convicted today on drug charges in Russia. A judge sentencing her to 9 years in a penal colony. Griner, detained in Russia for more than 5 months, found guilty of intentionally smuggling vape cartridges of hashish oil into the country. She addressed the judge before the verdict was announced, holding a photo of her team in Russia, telling the judge she, quote, made an honest mistake. President Biden calling her sentence unacceptable, and the administration is again urging Russia to accept its prisoner proposal. Here's ABC's senior White House correspondent, Mary Bruce.
This is the moment Brittney Griner learned her fate. Standing in a cage in a Russian courtroom, hearing she's been sentenced to 9 years in a Russian prison camp. Earlier, Griner emotional, saying she takes responsibility for illegally bringing vape cartridges containing cannabis oil into the country back in February, but stressing it was an accident.
I made an honest mistake, and I hope that in your ruling that it doesn't end my life here.
Griner choking up as she then apologized to her family and teammates in Russia and back in the U.S.
I want to also apologize to my parents, my siblings, my Phoenix Mercury organization back at home, the amazing women of the WNBA, and my amazing spouse.
During the trial, her lawyers argued there was no criminal intent, but the judge rejected that, finding Griner guilty of drug smuggling. Moments after her sentencing back in Washington, President Biden called for the WNBA star's release, saying in a statement that her sentence is one more reminder of what the world already knew: Russia is wrongfully detaining Brittney. But the White House tonight won't say publicly if they think Russia is trying to send a message by giving Griner such a severe sentence. Do you think she's being used as a political pawn here?
I cannot ascribe Russian motives or intent here. All I can do is tell you where President Biden is and the national security team. Wrongfully detained, need to come home. There's a deal on the table. Let's make the deal. Let's get him home.
The Biden administration is urging Russia to accept its proposal to bring Griner and former Marine Paul Whelan home. Sources tell ABC News the offer is to swap the two Americans for notorious Russian arms dealer Viktor Bout. Meanwhile, Griner remains in a pre-trial detention center as her lawyers try to appeal.
She can hardly talk, honestly, so it's a difficult time for her.
Mary Bruce back with us now. So, Mary, what more can you tell us about the status of those negotiations to bring Brittney Griner and Paul Whelan back home?
Well, tonight I'm told these talks are ongoing, but when I press the White House on whether they're seeing any progress, they won't say, insisting they don't think it's helpful to try and negotiate all of this out in public. The big question tonight, though, is now that Griner has been convicted, will Russia go ahead and accept the proposal on the table? Or if not, how much more, if anything, is President Biden willing to offer to bring these Americans home?
Child, if it's not Brittney Griner, I just got something that says Texas woman charged with murder after setting her boyfriend on fire at a gas station. You know what? Brittney Griner and Mystikal are enough. I am not dealing with that today, all right? Anyway, you guys, if you notice, they said that they still don't necessarily know if they are going to do the swap. Now, let's compare this. This is Brittney Griner, okay? She is facing 9 years in prison. This is who they want to swap her for, okay? This is who America is trying to send back to Russia in order to bring Brittney back to America. However, I feel like I told you guys this on Tuesday or Wednesday's episode that somebody from the White House said that they feel Russia is not going to want to even entertain the idea of a swap, quote unquote, trade, as they're calling it, before she's actually sentenced. So now that she's been sentenced, she's able to actually appeal within 10 days. And apparently Russia is now starting to act as if they're interested in this whole trade. Although I won't say allegedly, and I say allegedly because I've seen this in like the comment section. Somebody said it's possible that Russia doesn't even want him back because they are afraid he might be a spy now. So I don't know. I don't know if this trade is going to work in order to bring Brittney Griner back. Now, this is the statement that President Joe Biden basically ended up writing to Russia, pretty much saying, yo, send us our sis back and take this trade so that way we can all go on about our day. However, there are a lot of people that are saying that, you know, Joe Biden's not working hard enough. And you guys know what I showed you the other day that my homie King Only said that I absolutely agree with.
Kamala, what are you and Joe doing? What are you and Joe doing? Kamala, I'm saying you first. What are you and Joe doing? What are you and Joe?
Because here's the tailing. Although people are saying they think that Trump would have actually gotten her out by now because, you know, he ended up getting out those 3 basketball players that were stealing overseas when they actually had the money to buy it. And then they also ended up getting A$AP Rocky out. However, I saw this some months ago and I've been telling people this. He went on like Twitter or somewhere and was like, oh, poor spoiled Brittney Griner. Like, he don't care. As far as I'm concerned, he would not have brought her back. And you also have to remember that he's pretty cool with Russia. So I don't really see why he would have necessarily gone against Russia like that. And if anything, he might have been able to get her back easier simply because he is actually cool with Russia. But what do I know? I'm just a radio host in Seattle. Anywho, you guys, I ended up finding a video of someone that was released in April, American that was literally released in April after serving, I want to say 2 or 3 years in jail over in one of those Russian labor camps, which is basically where Brittney is about to go, okay? So I want for you guys to check out this video because I couldn't really find any good footage of what it looks like in the labor camps, but I did find this interview of him describing what the experience is. And let's just say it's no bueno, okay? Check this out.
New this morning, Russia says it is now willing to discuss a prisoner exchange with the U.S. This comes less than 24 hours after a court near Moscow sentenced WNBA superstar Brittney Griner to 9 years behind bars for having cannabis oil, a small amount, in her luggage. Joining us now is someone who knows exactly what Griner is facing right now, one of the few people, Trevor Reed. He returned to the United States in April after being imprisoned in Russia for almost 3 years. Trevor, thanks for being with us this morning. Logistically, Trevor, walk us through what happens now for her, because you've been through this. What, as she's transported, as she arrives wherever she may be.
Yeah, so once you're convicted in Russian court, you do have a chance to go to appeals and appeal that decision to another kangaroo court in Moscow. So after that trial, depending on Brittney's decision on whether she wants to appeal or not, she may stay in Moscow at the detention facility that she's already at until her appeals are completed, or if she chooses not to go to appeals, they may transfer her to a forced labor camp. And considering the fact that the Russian government is considering exchanging her, they may also decide to leave her in Moscow to make it easier for her to be returned to the United States.
Because in your case, where you were was several hours from Moscow, right? Describe for us what that prison was like, or that forced labor camp was like.
Yeah, food there is terrible. Sometimes that could be just some fish bones or broth of fish bones. Potato soup it's mostly water. There's feral cats that wander around there on the prison grounds, on the prison compound, dilapidated buildings. Solitary confinement there basically consists of just a concrete room with a hole in the floor for a toilet. Just really middle-aged looking stuff.
And we were talking when you were there with your parents, they were so worried about your health. You understand why when you describe the conditions. Are you worried about her health? Are you worried about her safety?
Yeah, sure. Anyone who is in a forced labor camp in Russia is obviously, facing serious threats to their health because of malnutrition. There's little to no medical attention there whatsoever. Tuberculosis runs rampant in Russian prisons. There's diseases that they have there in Russia which are largely extinct in the United States now. So it's definitely a concern for her health. Paul Whelan obviously has been in a forced labor camp for a very long time. It's definitely a dangerous place to be.
When I tell you, the moment that I heard Russian labor camp, I was like, let me see where you guys are sending her. And I think it's so crazy that it's so hard for me to find videos. If I'm able to find some more videos, I will try to put an overlay in here. But yeah, you guys, I don't know. But I do think that now that she's finally been sentenced, it's a little bit more possible for her to come home a little bit sooner. Or maybe even only have to do like 9 months, but 9 years? Anywho, we're going to go to another commercial break. And when we come back, we got to talk about Doja Cat and her cutting her hair. And I kind of want to talk about that a little bit because I kind of understand where she's coming from in certain parts. Okay, stay locked to Rewind with Besa. I'll be right back.
Damn, Echo, you're savage.
eating that roof Chris. Short temper, so you know I'm kinda ruthless. Bad pass, roll one, time to elevate. Yeah, part-time smoker when I medicate. Big step, a couple hoes up in the Dino. Fly 'em out to Vegas, couple just in the casino. Mean rep, I had to earn it, others buy it, money burning. I work harder, I deserve it. You a groupie, you a bird. I'm a
Hey guys, Besa Gordon here. Of course, you're still watching Rewind with Besa. And first, Doja Cat decided to shave off her hair off of her head. And people are saying that she shaved all of her hair off. So I'm not sure if she shaved her like arms too or something like that. But she then ended up taking her eyebrows off also. And she explains that apparently she never really liked hair. She never really had interest in having hair. And then she also talks about how there was so much insecurity in herself that she just didn't even like, you know, the fact that say you go to the gym and you got a wig on and then your wig starts sliding and it gets tacky. It's very uncomfortable and it can also be very distracting. So we're going to play this clip of Doja Cat explaining why she shaved her head and took off all her damn eyebrows. And I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on it when we get back.
My makeup artist just texted me, are you shaving your brows off? I'm driving the over. I'm gonna do it.
Doja Cat is embracing a new look. The 26-year-old woman singer shaved her eyebrows off on an Instagram Live on Thursday in front of shocked followers.
Ooh. I cannot tell you one time since the beginning of my life that I've ever been like, this is cool. I just do not like to have hair.
The pop star went on to recall the times when she felt really insecure about her hair and why it made her feel so bad about herself.
I remember feeling so just exhausted with like working out. Like whenever I went to go like train, I had like a trainer at one point and I'd be wearing wigs and they would be like getting like tacky. They'd like re-tack because of the moisture. And then they'd start sliding and peeling off of my head while I'm like in this, like doing this incredibly strenuous thing. I'd be working out, but like I couldn't focus because I was more concerned with how I looked and how my hair was doing and like how to keep it adhered to my scalp. And then like it would slide off and then I'd put on a beanie. There was times where like I'd put a beanie on top of my wig, that's on top of a wig cap, that's on top of braids. And I just can't believe that it took me this long to be like, shave your head. Because first of all, I don't wear my hair out.
And that's the factuals of it all right about there. So here's the thing, you know, shaving the eyebrows and shaving the head, it's not that deep for me, but I do think that as women of color, we have to make sure that we're comfortable with our own natural hair enough to where you can wear your natural hair out at the gym. I recently went to the gym and I was like, this lace front can stay its little self right here in the bathroom. Took the damn thing off, put my natural hair in a ponytail, and I ended up going downstairs. Like well, it was in a bun, but you know what I mean. Like, and I went downstairs and I went to the gym. It's so annoying when you are at the gym and you are trying to work out with a wig on because literally, like she said, it gets tacky. A lot of the times you'll see women at the gym with like a little headband on that have a lace front on because that's like the easiest way to make it to where even if it does get tacky, once it finally, you know, settles again, it kind of settles in the same spot rather than it just kind of like swishing and washing around. So, you know, I kind of feel her in terms of I don't even wear my own hair anyway. So what do I need it for? Because let's be honest, just because Doja Cat shaved her freaking head off doesn't mean that she's not going to still wear lace fronts. It just means that when she doesn't feel like it, she doesn't have to fuss and fiddle with her hair. And that I totally understand because frankly, I have yet to really find a hairdresser that I can really rock with out here in Seattle. So until then, I do my own hair, but I would rather just have some point have someone take care of my hair and just give me some different tips and tricks on how to continue dealing with my hair on a day-to-day basis when I don't necessarily want to wear a lace front because it's not like I don't have hair. I have a pretty good amount of hair. I just don't like dealing with it. Now, there are some fans that are a little bit worried about Doja Cat because she ended up shaving off her head, then she ended up shaving off her eyebrows. And although I do understand their worry for her, because let's be honest, Doja Cat does a lot of the times come out and she says that she's tired, she's touring too much, she doesn't have time to spend with her family. One time she was talking about she didn't have time to spend with her sick cat. So, touring all the time can definitely be very tiring, especially when you're dealing with different people like quote unquote trolls all over the internet. However, I just also feel like Doja Cat is just kind of quirky and does whatever she wants to do anyways. And there's definitely that video that I feel like I've played on season 1 of the Rewind where she said that she doesn't like her hair texture. Like she hates her hair texture. So I'm not surprised that she doesn't like having hair because she doesn't even like her hair texture. So just shave it off, chick. As long as you are happy with how you look, and once you now look into the mirror and you still feel like you look good, you still feel like you are beautiful, that is your prerogative. It is not for me to judge her for shaving off her eyebrows because, I still got my eyebrows, okay? If you don't want to have eyebrows and you like the look, girl, that is on you. I don't have to rock it. Now, with all of that being said, we're going to go to one more commercial break. And when we come back, we are going to end this episode of Rewind with Besa.
I'm past patiently waiting, I'm passionately passion every expectation, every action's an act of creation. I'm laughing in the face of casualties and sorrow. For the first time I'm thinking past tomorrow. And I am not gonna away my shot. I am not gonna away my shot. Hey yo, I'm just a country, I'm young, snappy and hungry, and I'm not gonna away my shot. We're gonna ride, so it's time to take a shot. We're gonna ride, so it's time to take a shot. We're gonna rise up, rise up. It's time to take a shot. Rise up, take a shot, rise up. It's time to take a shot, rise up. Take a shot, shot, shot. Hey, it's time to take a shot, time to take a shot. And I am not throwing away my shot.
All right, I hope that you guys enjoyed that restream right there. As I said earlier, we're going to have a brand new episode tomorrow, and I should be able to drop that interview with KJ Wright on Wednesday. And one of my favorite questions that I actually asked him that I've been really wondering was, how did you really feel when they just uprooted you and sent your butt on over to Vegas? Apparently, when he went to Vegas, he didn't have no family with him. He didn't have his wife. He just got uprooted after 10 years of being in Seattle and just sent to Vegas by himself. So we talked about that. We talked about flued out culture. We talk about PPP loans. We talk about Brittney Griner. We talk about a lot of things. And my whole tingling is a lot of times when it comes to these athletes and they do interviews, people only talk to them about sports. There's so much more to these athletes than just sports talk. So yeah, we touched a lot of bases, so I definitely cannot wait for you guys to see that interview. But until tomorrow, make sure that you have an amazing rest of your day, and you already know, keep that energy high.